Okay. Good evening, everyone. So, on behalf of the Women and Young Members Excellence Committee of I extend warm welcome to all of you to the Sky High Symposium series. It's a platform created by the committee to share the technical updates, enhance non-technical skills, and encourage our members to confidently express themselves in the public forums. This initiative aims to empower and inspire our members to step forward and make the most of their abilities. The chairperson of YMAC is CA Preeti Savla, who is also a chairman of the Sustainability Reporting Standards Board and vice chairman of Valuation Standards Board for the year 23-24. Vice chairman of YMAC, CA Abhay Chadat, who is also chairman of Commercial Laws, Economic Advisory, and NPO Cooperative, and vice chairman of Accounting Standards Board. So this Wednesday program series has been thoughtfully designed to nurture the growth and development of our cherished women and young members. Sky High Symposium is not just about technical updates, it's a platform to cultivate non-technical skills and empower our members to shine confidently on the public stage. Today's sessions hold the promise of enlightenment as we explore the realm of tech-enhanced GST compliance from e-invoicing to litigation management. So our first speaker is CA Vaishali Dedia, a true authority in their field, graces us with their insights. CA Vaishali Dedia has been working with Iris Business Services Limited for over 12 years. She is currently the product manager for Iris Credexo, a credit decisioning and monitoring platform. The platform enables lenders to make informed lending decisions through automated insights and audit modules based on GST data, bank statements, and many more. As a seasoned product manager, she has played a pivot role in designing the product roadmaps that cater to the dynamic needs to the market. Her expertise lies in meticulously researching the market trends to identify opportunities and the challenges, enabling the creation of cutting-edge solutions. One of her contribution at IRIS has been spearheading the development of the GST platform, which streamlines tax compliances like e-invoicing, e-way bill, and GST filings, maximize input tax credit through robust reconciliation, and provides insights, thereby significantly improving efficiency for business of all the sizes. She is deeply passionate about leveraging technology to transform the financial landscape, foster innovative solutions, and improve business. Prior to GST, her expertise lay in compliance and data analysis in the US markets. So I just hand over to Vaishali Dedia.
Yeah. Thank you, Forum, for such a lovely introduction. I would also like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the committee and CA Preeti Savla ma'am and Abhay Chadid sir to keep giving us this opportunity, at least giving me this opportunity to share my experiences, how how I have been able to help in the technology space. So being chartered accountants, usually people are into audits, people are into taxation, but now with GST and the prime minister's motive of a digital India, this is a very for our country as a whole, and we as professionals, of course, are the driving force. We need to get hold of all the technologies so that we can contribute our domain expertise and see how technology can basically foster the future. So I'll just share my screen. Just let me know if the screen is visible. Just briefly cover what is the agenda that we will be speaking about today. A brief background about the GST compliance landscape, how it has evolved, the a typical invoice journey in the B2B space, where how the invoice moves from sellers, accounting systems to government systems, and finally to the recipient system. So because this is tech enabled, I will not go deep into explaining the GST laws. Of course, that every one of us has an idea about. What I will do is mostly cover all the technical aspects of how technology can be useful in each of the stages. Some common challenges which tech enhanced platforms can solve. We'll go more deep into the GST and ITC input tax credit maximization use cases, and how the tech solutions have actually helped a lot of companies to ensure a robust reconciliation. And some key takeaways by when you are deciding a tech a partner for yourself or your clients, whether be it choosing an ERP or a GSPSP platform. So that is what we'll cover today. So now let us, what are the compliances? So GST primarily, if you, see it from a reporting angle, there are three types of reportings that government has mandated for, each of the taxpayers. So there are GST filings, there are e-wables, and there is e-invoicing. So now all three have different platforms on which the taxpayers have to report. They have different rules, basically. Some people may not, some cases e-wables are not required, some cases e-invoice is not required. So let us get started with the background of GST. So as you all already know, though the concept GST was into discussions since 2000, when the conceptualization was done. The complexity of the earlier indirect taxation system was streamlined with the introduction of GST in July 2017. uh, Registration wise, there the taxpayers, so basically the way it worked was each company had to get themselves a GST registration number. Now the GST registration number, if you see, it's derived from the PAN of the company. Basically, for all the states, they have to register and get a GST registration, in whichever state they have business. So one company can have multiple registrations. So now it is like more from a single centralized system to a decentralized working that has been introduced. If you look at some statistics from the 6-year report that was published by the GST network, the count of taxpayers that are registered as a regular taxpayer, who basically do their sales return filing in GSTR1, and the GST payments via freebie. Though the regular taxpayer count is 1.2 crore taxpayers. So this is the 1.2 crore GST registrations I'm talking about. And if you see the breakup of this, from a turnover angle, 50% of them are below 20 lakhs. So registration applicability, if you see, for goods it is 40 lakh, and for services it is 20 lakh above turnover. But still, there are 50% of the taxpayers who are below 20 lakh turnover range and still have got themselves registered. Now you all must be wondering why so. Because the GST comes with lot of benefits. Once you have a GST registration, see, you here it is not like you're paying out of out of your own pockets. Whenever there is a taxation, you are collecting it from the end consumers and then paying. So it is not actually a compliance mandate. If you look at it from a business growth angle, taking a GST registration number is a very a good way of getting access to a lot of other things, basically, be it MSME, categorizing as an MSME, or being be so as an MSME also, if you see, there are a lot of credit opportunities that are coming up because of the GST, and the GST filings, actually, if you see, they are mostly monthly filings, unlike your income tax filings. It is done annually. So whenever, if you look at a credit angle, of course, real time, more real time data is a very good source where the credit limits can be basically defined. So uh, you know this is how the GST actually registrations will help grow the businesses. Now, if you see, GST filings are to be done on GST portal, which is gst.gov.in. Okay, and regular taxpayers file GSTR 1, 3B, GSTR 9, 9C. There are other returns also, like TDS, TCS credits, etc. So the GSTR 1, if we talk about, the GSTR 1 has various tables that needs to be reported. If you see, there is a separate table for B2B, there is a separate table for a B2C transaction, there is a separate table for export transactions. So and the periodicity is monthly, quarterly, and annual. So now, I'll talk about how we can solve issues later, just giving you a background about all the compliances first, and then we will take up all the challenges that typically people face in each of these stages. Now comes e-way bill. So 2018 e-way bill was introduced. So e-way bill is primarily for tracking the movement of the goods. So none of the service invoices will have an e-way bill. Only the transactions where there are movement of goods will have a e-way bill number. Now with e-way bill, again, there are certain exemptions. There are certain cases where maybe it's not a sales invoice, but still you need a e-way bill. Like if goods are going out for job work, or if goods are going out for an exhibition. So, those cases are also supposed to have an e-way bill. Again, some statistics. So, number of registrations where, those who are registered on the e-way bill portal, which is, the NIC portal. NIC is National Informatics Center, which is the portal where e-way bill management happens. So the number of registration there is 46 lakhs. So only 46 lakhs taxpayers are actually registered on the on the NIC portal for e-way bills. Now, if you look at the e-way bill flow, so e-way bill primarily is for tracking movement from source to destination. Now, destination could be export transactions also. So when we talk about e-way bill, it is a India mandate. So when it is a export transaction, e-way bills are supposed to be ending their destination on the port from where they will then get exported. So it could be a airport or a shipping port. So that is how the e-way bill works. So if you see, almost 98% of the transports are road transports. Now, why I am also talking about this, again, there are certain cases of which transporters face, which can be, which are handled by technology in a very good, efficient manner. So that is why I'm highlighting here, where there are road transports. So what happens typically with the e-way bill? And e-way bill has a validity.
और भेज देंगे
So
जान जाते हैं।
so suppose if you generate an e-way bill today, and it has a 500-kilometer distance to travel, you will get 3 days validity. So every 200 kilometers there is 1 day validity given attached to the e-way bill. So you have to ensure that your goods reach the destination before the validity expires. Now, main challenge that people also faces, the cases where goods are kept in a go down, and from there then another truck will pick up. So all those cases are there where technology can help in basically keeping a track of the e-way bills which are about to expire, and giving an option to the user to move it to a go down, and then it can be auto extended. So there are auto extend facilities that can be provided by the tech solutions. uh, uh, And now coming to e-invoice, so e-invoice was introduced in October 2020 in a phased manner. So earlier 500 CR companies having turnover above 500 CR were supposed to register their invoices, get a e-invoice for their invoices uh, from October 2020. Later, that was reduced to 100 CR. Then it came down to 50 CR, then 20, then 10, and now currently from 1st August onwards, 5 to 10 CR turnover companies are also under the e-invoice bracket. So now here one thing important is the plan of government is to bring all B2B transactions. So even the below 5 CR, sooner you will find some notifications coming that they will also be covered under the B2B. Now if you look at the numbers over here, out of the 1.4 CR total registrations, around 6 lakhs are only generating, so 6.5 lakhs are only generating e-invoices. And as on that is as on 1st August 23, but 5 lakhs were more enabled from because they were from 5 CR to 10 CR list. Now why so much less number is because there are cases which are exempt for e-invoicing, like none of the banks are mandated for e-invoicing. All the banks, insurance companies, goods transport agencies, airlines, these are some of the exemptions that are given to the companies. So those will not be generating invoices. Now what actually is the concept of invoice? It is nothing but you generate invoices in your accounting systems, but you then register it with one of the invoice registration portals. Okay, now when you are registering with the invoice registration portals, you will get a signed invoice back in response, and a signed QR code. So when we say e-invoice, basically the GST registrations who are enabled for e-invoicing, if they are not generating e-invoices, then the party to whom they have issued the invoice will not be able to claim his input tax credit, because e-invoice, once you are enabled for e-invoicing, it is mandatory, and unless you generate an e-invoice, that invoice is not a valid invoice. So it is a important thing. And recently if you see, there is also uh, a new notification where they are actually limiting the backdated invoices. So all companies above 100 crore turnover, now they are supposed to generate e-invoices within 30 days of their invoice date. So suppose if I issue an invoice today, within 30 days I have to get it registered in the on the IRP. So typically if you see, for an e-invoice, unless you register it with the government, you will not be able to start your goods movement, and you will not be able to share the invoice with the uh, end uh, end recipient also. So the e-invoicing mandate actually is like a real time thing. As soon as you generate an invoice, you are supposed to register, but still there are some people who do it as a month end activity, registering their invoices, especially because in case of service industries, where they make a invoice at the end of the month, yeah, even a consolidated invoice at the end of the month, and then register that. So that is how e-invoicing has come in India. Now e-invoices again is applicable only above 5 CR turnover and B2B and export supplies. So it is not applicable to B2C yet. However, it can soon be. So again, all the GST registrations have to be prepared for what is the concept of e-invoicing, and how you can enhance or how you can rather use technology to ensure that none of your actual business is impacted. It's just an add-on thing for you, where you integrate it with some of the existing e-invoicing solution providers, and your rest of your thing is taken care of. So that is something that needs to be uh, uh, addressed. So here again, as I said, there are 6 e-invoicing portals now. So NIC, there are 2 portals for NIC, and there are four private IRPs. Now, again, four private IRPs were introduced from a innovation angle because the current flow of NIC is a little it's a little complex registration. You have to go on the portal, register yourself, and then if you want API integration, then it's a separate process. So there were certain requirements that you can apply for a private IRP and bring some innovation. So there are four more private IRPs. So the list of the private IRPs and the links to those, each of the private IRPs will be available from this portal. I'll just open this and show you once. So this is the GST portal. So there are there these are the list, and once you click on each of the IRPs, you will be able to basically navigate to the each of the e-invoice portal. So that this is e-invoice 1.gst, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, and 6. So Iris, the company which I am working with, it is also a private IRP. So all the basic functionalities of e-invoice generation is a free thing. So I will also in my webinar I will show you an Excel utility tool which will help you understand how technology has used helped in uh, generating e-invoices seamlessly. So yeah, so this is e-invoicing. Now let us understand what exactly we are covering. So basically, if you look at the tech journey, so there are multiple systems in which the same invoices. So there is suppliers ERP where your B2B invoices is present, or even export invoices present. That the invoice details of that invoice goes to the IRP, one of the IRPs. Once that IRP receives the invoice, the IRP does a deduplication system, because now there are multiple IRPs. What happens here is, suppose if some supplier is registered on multiple IRPs, then if he sends same invoice on two IRPs, the second IRP will not generate a new e-invoice for it. So here there is a deduplication check for each IRP. So once suppose supplier sends it to NIC1, the NIC will send it to deduplication system, where they will check whether the IRN is already present. If already present, they will return an error. If not present, then they will register it. Now this deduplication system is maintained by the GSTN. So GSTN is the whole and soul of the entire taxation system for all the invoices. So be it your return filing, or even for the e-invoices, the repository of e-invoice is the GSTN. Okay, now from here, what happens is, if there are e-way bills, so if you want a e-invoice as well as an e-way bill against that invoice, then you send that to the e-way bill system also, and then you will get the e-way bill number also. So uh, you know from suppliers ERP to these systems, everything is automated from a e-invoicing angle, where the suppliers ERP can integrate with one of the IRPs, and they can directly have an option in their systems to basically send for e-invoice, or generate e-invoice option, which will then ensure that once the e-invoice and e-bill is generated, the same is also updated in the ERP. Now why again this updation is required in ERP is because you are supposed to print the signed QR code that an IRP system provides. So there is a QR code that is signed by the IRP, and that is required to be printed on the invoice, and then only you can send it to the recipient. Now why again this? Because otherwise how will a registered recipient know that whether an IRN is generated or not? So whether you print IRN or not, but signed QR is mandatory to be printed on on an e-invoice. And once the invoice is received by the registered recipient, he will make his purchase entry in his system. Now while he is making his purchase entry, there is a flow happening from within government system to government system also. So once the IRPs have generated the IRNs, they also send the same data to GSTN for GSTR1 auto population. Okay, so this is the entire journey of an invoice from the seller system to various government systems, and then finally to the recipient. Now again, ERP, so supplier will send a PDF to the recipient, but GSTN also populates GSTR 2A or 2B of the recipient. So this is the purchase registered of the register of a recipient, where all the invoices of B2B will be reported. So I hope this is a clear journey that you have understood so far. So here again, e-way bill system is a separate system, GST is a separate system, and these again IRPs are a separate system. Now, what is needed is probably an integrated system where where you can manage all the three. So before going into the technicalities of an integrated system, let me just throw a light on the signed QR that I spoke about. So this is how the signed QR image will look like on an invoice. So any invoice, if you have currently also, you can just scan the QR code. So for scanning the QR code, there is a NIC app also, and each of the IRPs may have also, released an app. So we also have a Iris Peridot app which can be used to scan the QR code. So once you scan the QR code, these are the basic details that are received from the QR code. So now there can be a cross verification of the document number, date, etc., that is printed on the invoice value that is printed on the invoice versus what is gone in the QR. So, though the PDF is shared by the supplier to the recipient, the PDF is printed from his systems. Okay, so from his systems, of course, we assume that there wouldn't be any change allowed, after the IRN generation, but there could be some ERPs who still allow changes in the, changes in the system. So from a recipient angle, when it comes to input tax credit, this is an important information that he needs to check whenever he is getting the invoice and getting the goods. So now if you see many companies, the companies with which even we have interacted, so many companies have kept this check at their, the person who is taking the goods receipt, or who is rather making entry of goods receipt. They actually reject the goods if the supplier with from whom that has been received, if he is enabled for e-invoicing, and if there is no signed QR code on it. So there are clear instructions given to a lot of internal department teams in the companies itself. So that is how the technology has helped over here, that they inside their own ERP systems, or the goods receipt system which they maintain, they have integrated this flow where they, for each QR, it can automatically scan the QR. So all of you, I don't know how many of you must be aware of this, the OCR, the optical recognition. So what does OCR do is actually read the content of a PDF or a document, and then kind of the system understands that information and takes it back. So based on the OCR technology, they have built in the QR extraction, and then based on the QR, then basically accept or reject the goods. So this is very important thing when it comes to how government has also looked at it. So along with the sign QR, if if you want to do a, say, purchase automation, so there are many large companies now, what they do is they are also having a, purchase automation engine that runs. So again, the entire PDF that the supplier sends, that also has a lot of information. So what they do is they process that invoice, and whatever important data points are there, they basically pick up those data points. For example, HSN table, what are the goods that are written in the invoice, then the address of the seller, or the purchase order numbers, because e-invoice schema has all these details, and the PDF also has all these details. So typically, now people are moving into automating a lot of things that are currently manually done. So this also helps improve the productivity, increase the business, because the documentation is very important when it comes to input tax credits, etc. So now if the purchase automation is done, the reconciliations will be far more easier, because when you are getting the PDF, so there are currently, if you see, uh, as a recipient, I receive a PDF copy from a supplier, I receive a data in GSTR 2A, which is again something that supplier has filed with the GSTN. And I have to now actually, I am doing a purchase register entry myself also, so I have to reconcile all the three data sets. So if at least from the PDF my purchase entries are automated, then the reconciliation between the PDF and uh, the system purchase register entry goes away. Again, lot of established ERP systems like SAP, Oracle, they already have some inbuilt modules which take care of these reconciliations, where whenever they do a reconciliation of the invoice with the goods receipt note also, PO. So that part is anyways a different entire different module altogether, where we are talking about procure to pay cycle, where you are actually raising a PO, then the PO turns into an actual so first it is of course requisition order, then PO, then it turns into a invoice, and before invoice goods come, so all the GRN and then the invoice. So all the separate reconciliation that is happening into the ERPs. Now what we are talking about is more which will not happen in the ERPs. So now once I'm getting the data in my GSTR 2A to B, because my input tax credit now government is deciding, whatever you have booked into your purchase registers, if it is varying with 2B, then you are into trouble. So that reconciliation will still remain until and unless ERPs take up upon their hands to do it into their systems. So now let us understand some important points before we started. So platform. So say
Progress.
upload data, or if you want to do your GSTR1 filing, you have to basically, there is a limitation if you want to do it online. You can only put 500 records in one period. So if your records exceed more than 500, then you have to basically use an offline tool, which again GSTN has provided, but offline tool again has its limitations, which I'll cover in the next steps. Then there is a ASP GSP. So GST Suvidha providers are actually data blind. So they are just a pipe to connect from from the taxpayer or application system which you are using to the GSTN portal. Now again, why this is required? Not each and every taxpayer will be allowed to connect to GST portal. GSTN has only there has to be secure transmission. So the security layer, data encryption, decryption, etc., is taken care of by the GST Suvidha providers. So they have to take secure lines to connect to GSTN, and all those infra etc. is built by GST Suvidha providers. Now what does an ASP do? So ASP is an application service provider. So for example, you may be using computax or winman for your income tax filings. So those are applications which you are using for your filings. So similarly, all these GSPs, what they have done is majority of them have built a application, so that it is not the pipe that you are using. You have a good user journey on the platform, and that platform actually can solve lot of problems that you may be facing while doing either online or offline, using offline utility of the various portals. So of course backend may the GSP pipe is being used, but the application, so similar to what Winman or computax does. So here the application service providers are the ones who actually can listen to you, who can basically take your feedbacks also, because it is ultimately using a lot of other client of theirs. So what usually these ASP, so one module the full module is already built and already people are using a lot of ASP GSPs, and any kind of new thing that you require, or maybe GSTN changes something. Okay, so the ASPs are now kind of they come to the forefront and make those changes. So when it comes to, so if your ERP is directly connected to the GST platform, if your ERP is a GSP, for example, SAP is a GSP. Okay, and if SAP provides this feature directly, then there is no requirement of an ESP GSP. But there are a lot of things that are not doable in the ERPs, and hence a third party platform is what is required by the companies, and people go choose to go with them. Now there are three important things here again. The API that I'm saying. So the access to these each of these three systems, or when I say GSP can connect to GSTN, the access from GSP to GSTN is a different. There is a consent mechanism that works. So as a GSP or as a ASP GSP, I cannot ask you for your portal username and password. So portal username meaning when you actually type when you actually go to gst.gov.in, you type a username password to log in. ASP GSPs do not ask that. Okay, if any ASP GSP asks that, then it is not a correct way of doing. It is not legal, because GSTN strictly prohibits use of web scraping. Only an authorized GST Suvidha provider can connect to GSTN using a OTP based consent mechanism. Okay, so GSTN is OTP based. NIC eWebel API is API username password based. So, not the login username password. Once you log into the NIC portal, there is an option for API registration where you have to basically, select a GST Suvidha provider and set credentials for that particular GST Suvidha provider. Now, why there is a difference of consent? Because GSTN, if you see, it is it is more of a monthly filing, or or a quarterly filing process. However, e-way bills and e-invoicing are a regular a day-to-day activities. Okay, so that's why there is a difference. When you have a OTP based consent, what it means is the OTP based consent is valid only maximum for a 30 days. So after 30 days, again a new OTP is required. However, in e-waybill and e-invoice systems, once you set a API username password for a GSP, you need not again do anything. You have to just share these credentials on the ASP platform. Again, when I say sharing username password, it's on the platform that you are sharing. You don't have to share it offline to them. When we say, when you are using a third party platform, though it is a cloud based, it can be a cloud based platform, but that platform actually takes the credentials, and those credentials are encrypted in the platform, so none of the the company users won't be able to basically get those credentials. So as I said, you have to be very careful. These are very important points. As chartered accountants also, sometimes it so happens that someone asks for some details, and we give if we give username password, then it's a very it's a open thing. So anything on the GST, so GST platform has a lot of things, right? But GSPs are allowed to access only a few things. For example, the amendments. For example, amendments to the to your core fields or non-core fields. Those are the functionality available only on the GSTN portal. Those are not available on the via APIs. So those cases, you cannot basically if someone is providing that, it is definitely web scraping, and which is strictly prohibited by the GST. Currently we had also got a as a GSP, every GSP had got the letter from GSTN saying that they have observed some cases where web scraping is being done, but they will take strict actions. So that is one important thing. And of course, so we as GSPs also interact with GSTN, where there are certain important things that are needed as an API. For example, all your notices. So if you want, to manage all the notices, there is an important need for a litigation management solution, and there is a need for APIs for us to fetch the APIs automatically, and give a platform, where you can view all the summaries, etc., of the litigation. So this is very there is very important requirement, and majority of the GSPs have actually put forward this requirement with the GSTN. And hopefully we if once the APIs come, we will be able to help in a more better manner. Currently, those notices are on a mail, or you go log into the portal and you get it. So that is something that is there. Now let us come to the main topic, where how technology basically helps in solving what kind of challenges. So there are some of the common points that I will talk about across all the three systems that we saw. So firstly, these all three are different systems. As a GSP, I am connected to all the three systems. So as an ASP, application service provider, I can provide that seamless experience of having a single platform, and managing all your e-invoicing, e-bills, and all and the GST compliances from a single platform. Because ultimately, what the underlying invoice is the same, which you're sending it to invoice, which you're sending it to e-bill, and the filing. So this is one important thing when you are thinking of taking a help of a external platform. It is important that all the compliances are under one platform. Second, different login credentials at the GSTN level. So if you look at all the three portals, all the three have login credentials at a GSTN level. So now, for example, I have a business in Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, and I have three GST registrations, and I am only going to manage all the three ka compliances. Then logging into all the three separately and then doing the compliances is a very not so friendly way of doing. So how this can be done? So basically, again, the platforms can have a capability of providing this functionality, where you can manage all your GSTNs under a single login, and also with bulk actions. So with bulk actions, I mean, all the data uploads, etc., also can happen at a bulk level. And at a pan level, you can also get roll up of analytic reports. In fact, when it comes to e-bill and invoices, we also found that there were use cases where there are different place of businesses within GSTN. Now when I speak about three GSTNs, now each of three GSTNs, for example, in Maharashtra, I may have a warehouse at Bhiwandi, I may have a warehouse in Pune, I may have a warehouse in Thane. So I have different principal place of businesses from where each of my operations are happening. The invoices from place will be different, and from other place will be different, but my GSTN is the same. So there were also requirements where each place of businesses to have their own restricted access for that particular place of business. So so we had also gone a down level, and we also allow a POB level addition into our platform, so that the restrictions can be managed. So these are like, if you ask me, e-invoicing and e-bill, most of the large companies and mid-sized companies are going for integrations, because this is more a real time business, rather a real time thing, than going on the portal and doing it. So majority of them are doing auto integration. Essentially means they are tech enhanced already. The ERP is tech enhanced already. If not, then there is a chance of a platform where this can be done. Again, one important point here again was that offline Excel utility. Now when you look at GSTR1 filing, or even even any in fact e-invoice e-waybill everywhere, it's an offline utility. So what you exactly do is, in offline utility is you prepare data, you download download the data from your accounting systems, upload it into your upload it into the excel utility, then generate a I hope I am audible, right? Yeah, yeah. So generate a JSON from that offline Excel utility, log into the portal, upload the JSON. Then in case error comes, again download that JSON, upload it into offline utility. Then again look at the errors, solve those error, again do the same process. So it's very sometimes it's very tricky. So of course those who are in those who are working in the indirect taxation teams of the company, they mostly may be using already something. But if you are a practicing chartered accountant, where your clients are giving you a tally extract or some other systems extract, then this data cleaning activity is required. Plus, even in the offline utility, you have to prepare data in table wise. So basically, for B2B there is a separate table, for export there is a separate table. So you have to prepare those files in there are 12 files actually you need to prepare, if we exclude the amendments part. So there are 12 files you have to prepare and then upload in the offline tool. However, when we see a tech platform, what it does is it can accept any kind of data. So firstly it can accept via API integration. It can, so there will be a standard structure in which a platform will require the data. And you have to just ensure that it comes in that format. But once it comes in that format, so it is again a one time activity that can be done as a settings. So if suppose your format is a little different than what the format expected by the platform, there can be a rule that can be built between the two data sets, and your so that can also be automated, is what I would like to highlight. So it's not that again you have to do some manual activity. So for example, there are cases where you extract the data, and in GST, when the amounts are tax amounts are required to be given. So those are like IGST, CGST, SGST. But some systems, what they do is they just give tax rates, or they don't give, say they give tax rates and taxable value. So they don't give, say, invoice value, or they don't give the GST amounts, the breakup, whether it is IGST, CGST. So rules can be applied, whether it is an IGST or CGST, SGST, and a standard rule file and customizable rule file basically. So each company may have their own rules, so that can be defined, and then the data can be taken. So that can be fully automated. Now, because this is monthly activity being done, that's why the emphasis on why automation is needed first place. So if there will be a lot of time saving in this. Again, there are options like SFTP. Like, what is SFTP? Basically, secure file transfer protocol. So what does this do is, there are some systems where you cannot do API integrations. They have their own restrictions. So then what happens is, the ERPs push the data in an Excel or JSON or CSV in a particular at a particular folder in a server. And the platforms can pick that. So that is a whole technology should be built behind the scenes, where the system can automatically pull those files and keep it ready for your filings. Then there is a Excel upload feature can also be available. Online Excel utility, of course, this is one thing that I will like to showcase also, after this slide. So again, here one more point, as I said, there uh, the platform can manage multiple GSTINs. Again, here the main challenge is, when you use a offline utility, you do it for each GSTIN. The process that I explained, you do it for each GSTIN separately. But when it comes to a platform, all these things can be easily automated. So you need not prepare GST and wise files. You can just prepare a pan level file and do a upload. It will automatically categorize into different GST INs, and then from there it can go ahead with the flow. So that is one important thing. Then possibility of different data uploaded in all the three platforms. Now, though the invoice is same, there is a possibility that e-invoice has a different data, e-label has a different data, and GSTR1 has a different data. Now, why is that possible? Because when you do e-invoicing, okay, there are cases when there is something wrong. For example, something went wrong while doing the invoice. There is only a 24-hour window available for cancellation. If you don't cancel within 24 hours, there is no option to cancel or modify the invoice. What you will have to do is probably either issue a credit note for full amount and issue a new invoice. But many companies, what they do is, because while doing the filing, GSTN has allowed to delete that invoice altogether from the invoice system. So they basically delete it directly from the GST portal. So now there is a difference between what was reported in e-invoice versus what went into GSTR1 file. Similarly, e-invoice and e-way bill. So there, because e-way bill also is an independent platform. So the invoice where you have generated IRN, for that it is not compulsory that you generate e-way bill also from the invoice platform. You can generate it on the e-way bill platform. Now again, there could be possibility, because it is a different system, some figure went wrong. So if it is all automated via ERP, then there are less chances of having differences. But when it is a offline tool activity or an online activity that is being done, in those cases that there could be differences. So again, here there could be various reconciliation modules with which can be helpful, which is e-invoice and GSTR1, e-way versus GSTR1, and also all the three. So because one is your data of your own data, which is there in your accounting system, versus what went in e-invoice, versus what went in e-way versus what went in GSTR1. So this is one from the sales angle. Again, with the purchase angle, already there, anyways, there is a need of reconciliation with the purchase register, because your input tax credit is now limited to purchase to be data. So one. So this is just a screenshot to show you how exactly when I speak, how can one manage multiple GSTINs in one under one platform. So this is a platform where this is one user which can which is responsible for multiple GSTINs, and everything can be done. So as I spoke about the OTP process, so you have to basically you can generate OTP and validate sessions for all the GSTINs from one login. And then there are bulk operations, etc., which from where you can upload the data and do the GST filings. So this is one. So also along with one login, also multiple users. So GSTN and other platforms. So GSTN does not provide any option of multiple users. E-Webel invoice provides that option of creating sub users, but GSTN doesn't. So for GSTN, it works with a single login credentials. Here we can give access to. So for example, I am having an access at a pan level, but if I want one person to be involved only for Gujarat, then I will give him access only for Gujarat, so he'll not be able to do any actions for other states. So that is how the platform can basically help you in putting everything into one managing everything into one platform, also managing multiple users. uh, Before I move to the next, what I will do is I'll just break for a while, and I'll show you the e-invoice Excel utility. So as I mentioned earlier, Iris IRP is one of the invoice registration portal appointed by GSTN, like other private IRPs. So all the functionalities on the IRP portal are free. There are value added services which each of the private IRPs can provide for for a price, but the basic generation, cancellation of invoice, etc., are free. So what can be done with this is, as we spoke about, what you currently do is, import the Excel in the Excel in the platform. I'll just show you the just open. So here, I'm showcasing a demo from one of our platforms. Which so here the GSTIN. So suppose I am a company, I will register myself on the IRP portal. Now once I have registered myself, um, the credentials will be the registration process. Currently I'm not going into, but I'll just show you how easy it is to basically this utility is built on macros. So I just, for the sake of understanding what exactly macros can do, is what I would like to showcase. One second. Just log into the platform. Okay, so now I am already connected to the iris IRP platform. This is a test environment. So now what happens is, again, as I said, there could be different states on which I can have access. So here also we have continued the same flow, where you can log in as a user and then register all your GSTINs for which you are responsible. Now once you are doing once you want to choose to do e-invoicing using an Excel utility, you just import the file. So before importing the file, there is a sample in which you need to upload. So now what that sample requires is, basically, there is a mapping. That so what the macro does is, there is a mapping sheet that is created. Now for example, the sample that I have uploaded right now, what it has in the headers is this this information. So GSTIN of the user, supply type code, reverse charge, or ecom GSTIN, and so. So for example, in your file, say document number ka column ka header is invoice number. So you can change this simply. That so the macro will know where I am supposed to map this column of document number from the input file. So input file has basically this field name from which I will map. So this is the standard mapping that we have given, but because sample file is based on this mapping, you can change based on what format you have. So here again, there are options for there will be options basically for auto calculating the invoice value, etc., also, if you have not done so. Because in IRP we have not done it, but in our other platforms we also have the calculations that need to be done. So now once I uploaded this invoice, so these are the invoices that I have basically sample invoices that I'm doing. So I'll just do a validation. So there is no validation. I'll just generate an invoice. So file is validated. Now the background process of sending the invoices to the e-invoice portal has started. Now here, if you see, there are some errors also. So the whole process that I spoke about in offline utility, where you go to the login to the portal, upload the JSON file, then get the errors again in JSON, then that all entire process is skipped away, because this is directly integrated with API. So now all the errors will be directly visible in the Excel utility itself. So this is what is online Excel utility, which we have generated. So these are some most of the platforms will be able to. So those who are into technology, they of course know how this can be done. So this is what it is. So now what has happened here is, the cases where there were no errors, the IRN has got generated. So I'll just show you the IRN details. So this is the entire schema. There are There are 130 fields in the e-invoice schema, out of which, of course, only 35 to 40 are mandatory. Rest all are optional. So if you see, there is acknowledgement number, date, IRN number. This is the signed invoice detail, and this is the signed QR code. So this signed QR code is similar to what I had shown you earlier. So this is what it is, and the status whether it is active or not. So in case where it is where there is an error, for example, so these were the cases where there was error. So recipient GSTN state code does not match with the state code passed in the recipient details. So now if you see, so there was some difference in the state code versus uh, so you can rectify those invoices and send them again. So now again, if you want to say print these invoices, so the print also functionality is from inside itself, so you can print it. So I'm choosing for a bulk print. So once you do this, you will get a single file which will basically let me just showcase you. So I've just said, so this is the file, because I did a bulk one. So what it did is basically all the invoices where IRN was generated. It picked all those invoices, and if you see here, there are 14 invoices where IRN got generated. So all the 14 invoices ka print is also basically ready in a single. So now it's just Control P function, and you can connect to your printer and print all the 14 invoices. So again, this printing may the standard that everyone gives is the this is the standard print, and we have also included logo. So this logo is already added by the company whose test account I'm using. So this is the IRN data. So now this is the print format. So again, this print format is a standard format which the which GSTN has asked us to follow, except that we can add the logo. So we have added the logo over here. So this is how the online Excel utility works. So this is very simple thing, but of course background there are a lot of macros, and if you have a lot of invoices, then again online Excel macro enabled sheet also doesn't work, because of course there are limitations to the Excel flow. If it is an API integration, it is the best thing to do, is what I would say. So I'll just come back to the presentation. Um, yeah. So now let us, a little deep dive into the ITC and the GST filings thing. So as I explained, multi GSTN is possible, multiple users are possible. Now, when we talk about data preparation and cleaning, which I just spoke about earlier, that in the Excel tool, I showed you how, if suppose some values are missing in your extracted format, how you can basically do a auto derive those values. So the tools will be able to do that. Now there is a typical thing that if you see in your invoices, all your invoices will have HSN level information, and it will not be in a manner of GSTR1 filing. If you see the GSTR1 filing, the B2B export transaction, wherever invoice level information is asked for, you are supposed to aggregate that information at a tax rate level. Now, what does that mean? So, for example, you have 5 products in an invoice, and two products are 5% tax rate, and 3 products are say 18% tax rate. So while doing an e-invoice, of course, you will report all the 5 products, because HSN information is required in an e-invoice and also in an e-webbill. But when you do your GSTR1 filing, you have to aggregate the 2 products which are at 5% tax rate. You have to a 5% tax rate and an 18% tax rate. Okay, so it's as simple as that. So HSN summary is a separate summary table that you have to prepare. So now what happens is, if your data that is being extracted from the ERPs has HSN level information, it does not have an extracted tax rate level information. So that is something that you will have to do on your own. If And also the HSN summary, that is something that you will have to prepare on your own. Now, what can a platform do here is platform can take invoices as is, because calculations can be done technically, right? So what platform does is basically the platform accept all the five HSN level information into their systems. So what you do is all your sales invoices, be it B2B, B2C, B2C large, B2C small, everything what you can do is upload at an invoice level. Okay, now invoice level and HSN level. Now the aggregation and bucketing it into the automated GSTR one buckets, like what should go under B2B, what should go under export, what should go under HSN summary, and calculation of HSN summary. All this can be done automated. So of course, maybe we may not we don't have that much of time that to show you, but that is how actually all the platforms basically are capable of doing. So there is a lot of time saving now here. So first step, all the GSTINs under one. The upload can be accepted at a PAN level. That means all GSTIN ka invoice level, detailed information, HSN level information, pass it on to the system. The system will automatically figure out where this particular transaction has to go. Wherever aggregation has to happen, it will also do the aggregations, and it can be easily done. So it is already done, and any many of the many everyone does that. So that is something, if you're not aware of course, yeah, you can check out the platforms before going into choosing any one of them, so that you get an idea of what are the pain points that you are currently facing, whether those pain points are being solved by the platforms that you want to integrate with. Now, e-invoicing and B2B. So what again happens here is e-invoicing auto population. If you see again, it is only for B2B and export. Now, when you see the GSTR1, B2B export data is partially auto-populated, but B2C information is to be filled by the customer, and then the filing is required to be done. So now here also, when you see the auto population, there are cases where there are differences in the auto population. So differences in terms of maybe cases where so I'll give you one example. So what happens in e-invoicing? You can generate an e-invoice if the party ka status is suspended. So suspended. Each of the GST registration, has a status. So either it can be active, suspended, or cancelled. For cancelled GSTINs, you cannot generate e-invoice after the cancellation date. But for suspended GSTINs, because suspension is a temporary status, only if the tax officers after suspension find that it is fine to cancel them, they'll cancel. So suspend at the time of suspension, the e-invoices can still be generated, but in GSTR1 filing, till the time the status is suspended, it is not allowed. So those invoices don't get auto populated in GSTR. So there are cases where these things happen. Similarly, in case of export also, what happens is if you have provided shipping bill numbers, etc., those will those will go ahead. But in case of export, what happens is, while you are doing e-invoicing, at that time you don't have the shipping bill number. At that time you will just import, you will just create, because your goods have to move to the port, and then the shipping bill process happens. But from a GSTR one filing angle, of course, the shipping bill number is important, because it is linked directly to your your refunds, etc. So what happens here is, again, many people do not basically want to change the auto populated data, and some people are okay with changing that. Now when I say auto populated data change means, now the way GSTN has done is, once the data is auto populated, if you even if you don't do any change, but if you even if you use your offline tool, upload all the invoices, and all the invoices for which iron has generated, if you upload it back in the offline tool also, your IRN numbers will go away from your GSTR1 file. So even if there are no changes in the invoice, the IR, because the auto populated data is is replaced with your own data. and when you replace it, there is no field for IRN number. So whenever you are, so there is an importance over here is, if you do not want to auto populated data to get replaced, you know you reconcile the information so that those cases which are all matched, you do not need to send it again. Okay, so there is a also there is a possibility where the input tax credit. So if you ask me why again auto populated should not be replaced, is many of the recipients, what they do is they check for IRN numbers in their 2B. So if suppose you are supposed to generate IRN but there is no IRN, that means they will also assume there has been some change. Okay, so once they assume there has been some change, it will be a a kind of a to and fro situation and things. So many of the vendors themselves tell the many of the recipients themselves tell the vendor that you do not replace the data if it is all right. So now many of them use the reconciliation to do this. Again, this reconciliation can be automated. So of course, because you have two data sets, because auto populated data is also available from GSTN, data can be uploaded in the platform and the reconciliation can be done. And also what happens with e-invoice auto population, and where you do not want to replace, what happens is uh, you know um, you need an still for HSN summary anyways, you will need to upload that data into the platform so that the HSN summary comes up. So it's always so reconciliation module can be embedded in the one filing flow itself, where what happens is you upload your data, you get the data that is auto populated, reconcile everything that is matched will be marked so that it doesn't get saved again, so that it doesn't get go for replacement. And then finally only those cases where there is a mismatch, or there are cases where say data is present in the uploaded data but there is no auto population, those cases, or even where there is an IRN number present but there is no corresponding upload. So what are those cases? You can view those cases and decide what to do. Okay, so these are cases which help the taxpayers do their GSTR1 filing. Now coming to input tax credit again, now because it is only 2B based on which you have to do. So it is not just 2B, basically you have to also ensure that you also have that invoice. So 2B may, there could be hundreds of invoices coming this month, but probably the goods have not yet been received by you, so you cannot claim ITC this month. You have to park that ITC and then claim it in the next month. So the importance of reconciliation, and a pre-reconciliation and a final reconciliation. So I'll showcase you some screens where what I'm talking about will make sense. So one is pre-reconciliation, which will help you in mismatch. So now again, someone may say that mera to my 2A doesn't come only because my 2A will not come. But now with e-invoicing, what has happened is the 2A also gets auto-populated within a span of 2 days. Okay, so now you get real-time information of your purchase invoices also. So you can do a regular reconciliation. So even if not doing it daily, what you can do is once the month ends, on the when you are doing your GSTR1 filings, you can at least place the requests for pre-reconciliations with 2A, so that if there are any differences, that can be communicated to the vendors so that they can rectify their GSTR1 filing beforehand, instead of doing a reconciliation with 2B and then later on finding out that there was a huge value difference, and now he has to do an amendment in the next month, which I will get again ITC in the next month. So instead of going that process, it's important to do a pre-reconciliation and finally then do a final reconciliation. Now final reconciliation may also the cases that I talk about, like the cases where goods are not yet received, so you are supposed to do the reversal and then reclaim it. So there has been again a recent addition in the flow, where the GSTN has given a reversal and reclaim ledger. So now you are supposed to put some online opening balances into that, and then going forward you have to track those cases. So how you can track it with the systems. So that is something that I will show you in the next thing. And again, depending on the dependency on vendor compliance. So even if one may have been filed, but ITC also depends on your GSTR 3B. So periodically, reviewing the suppliers, every month after your 3B filing date gets over, periodically reviewing the suppliers and checking their compliance statuses will give you a idea of what he will be doing in the future also. Then ITC, again 3B auto drafted based on 2B. But again, as I said, the 3B markings will be required. So this is again related to the reconciliation with 2B. So once the reconciliation is done, you can do 3B markings, and then basically based on those markings, the 3B can be auto populated. Again, all these markings will happen at a GSTN level or an invoice level, but then when you do a auto population of 3B, it is again at a PAN level, you can auto populate it. Then there are cases where ITC is there. There are cases where large number of records are present, and people have to create multiple files. This is the current issue that many of them are facing. Again, those platforms that are connected via APIs do not face this issue, so there these cases are handled. So I'll just fast. I'll just run fast through this slides because we are running maybe short of time. So this is the reconciliation with GE invoice and auto-populated GSTR1 that I was talking about. Upload the data, upload your sales data end of the month. View that data if you want to. Get the e-invoice auto-populated data. Reconcile the data. The cases which are matched will automatically be marked as saved so that they don't go into GSTR1 filing again. And then in case of mismatch and these cases, you can basically uh, identify what was the reason and do the marking. So this is e-invoice versus STR1 auto population. Then pre-reconciliation with 2A. So pre-reconciliation, again, there are a lot of fuzzy logics, advanced logics that can be run to. So a typical challenge that everyone faces in the reconciliation is in my purchase register, when someone is entering the invoice number, main issue is sometimes prefix nahi karte hai, like some formatting differences are there. So those cases also can get automated by using using a software or reconciliation module, so that those cases can be automatically done. So now with all this AI ML thing coming, so these can also be learned logics by an AI and then applied. So currently these are all manual logics that are applied. What kind of things can be considered as a fuzzy logic, those things are applied, but each company may have a different way of doing it. So pre-reconciliation is again one more why it is important is because 2B is generated only on 14th of the next month. Before that you will have no idea on what ye month ka ITC hone wala hai. Okay, so if you want to know what is so even if you don't start from first of the month, so for example for this September month, abhi to invoicing is going on. Now if you want to actually start looking at 2A, you can start looking at from 1st of October, or maybe you can start looking at from 5th of October, that way. So many of them, many may file on 7th, 8th, they file early also, right? Many of the suppliers. So you can start doing a pre-reconciliation, and then final reconciliation can be based on the 2B. So again here there are two options that can be done is 2A ka reconciliation. In the 2A reconciliation itself, you update the 2B status, whether it has appeared in the 2B or not, and go ahead with the same reconciliation, or you do a fresh 2B reconciliation. That is also there. Then the communication part, so bulk emails are possible, like if you have uploaded vendor masters into their platforms, then bulk emails can be sent to in case of mismatches. The templates also can be customized, uh, and of course these steps also can be auto scheduled. So because I know now ki every 14th, there will be a 2B coming, we many platforms give this option of auto scheduling all these steps. Auto scheduling meaning you just while subscribing to the product itself, you set this dates basically that every month on 14th night or on 15th morning, my 2B should be fetched. 2B, once 2B is fetched, this step should be done. The normal reconciliation should be run, nor the or even for that matter, those who are doing integration for purchase data also, they also schedule it that ways also. Okay, you auto pull the data from or push the data from ERP to this platform on 10th, and on 14th, anyways 2B will come. Then do the auto reconciliation will be done by the platform. Once the reconciliation is done, you will get a notification in your email, and only then you come and see. So there are a lot of things possible when technology is involved. Now, this 3B marking is very important, when we speak today, because, as I said, they have also asked for a reversal and reclaimed, ledger right now. So what we had done was, for each, whenever you are doing ITC, it is also a monthly ITC that you will be doing. So for each invoice, basically, or a group of invoice, a filtered invoice, once you know these are matched, once the reconciliation is done, out of say 50, I know, say out of 50, say 45 are fully matched, I don't have to look at those also. So in those cases, also, there will be cases where you want to mark those as reversal, because you have parked them for your goods receipt part. Okay, or for full 45, maybe you want to mark it as fully claimed, so you can put it under actual. Then, if you have claimed partially, so there are cases where, if in case of partial claim, what happens is, now the flow of 3B is such that you have to report your ITC table 4A as per 2B, then you have to report reversals, and then finally your net claim. And the one that you are marking in 2B, the first table where you are defining as per 2B, the reclaim part you can add it. So now, when I say reclaim, means, the cases where goods are not received and we had reversed in the previous month. So, for example, say there were two invoices where those were appearing only in the sales data, which is in 2B, but I have parked them because I have not got those invoices in the purchase register yet. I will mark them as reversal. Now, next month, when those invoices come in my purchase register, those will be reconciled. Now, once they are reconciled, I will come to know that these were reversed in the earlier month. How? So I'll just show you. So we keep a we there is a audit trail of whatever markings you have done. So say in February you had marked this invoice as reversal because goods not received, and September may you actually say received. So then you will do it as a reclaim. So now, because because this flow can be done, the 3B can be automated based on these markings, because, and also this will help you in keep a track at the invoice level. So because nowadays what happens is, you get notices based on this. So notices may usually, you get all these cases only where you have claimed more than what to be says, or aggregate. They also do some averages and give some information. So those cases, for that you need to have some supporting, right? So agar ad hoc if we claim, then it is going to put us in trouble. Now anyways they are saying 2B, so even if we say ki 2B, even if we say that we will do it under the limits of 2B, still it's important to keep a track of because then again working capital gets affected and everything happens. So this is how the flow can work. So again, here reversal, say for example 180 days payment rule is not has happened. So for example, for this invoice, I had claimed earlier, but now because I've not made payment to the vendor in 180 days, I have to make the reversal. So I will do a reversal, and then in case reclaim, so all those tracing can be retained if there is a system which can allow you to do that. So this is the advantage of how technology can help outside the ERPs also, for the input tax credit accuracy. And this is something that I talked about, was about the overall vendor compliance status. So what can be done is, based on his last 12 months return filings, whether they are filed on time or filed late. So based on that, some categorizations can be done, which this is a report automated. So there are some logics that are built behind which will automatically put a GSTIN under one of these four categories that you are seeing. Fully compliant means all last 12 months returns have been filed on time, and those are filed basically. And irregular means the frequency, either there could be a lot of late filings, or there could be a lot of non filings, or mixture of both. So based on certain rules, these have been defined. So now this is being used, if you were to ask me. So all the large corporates now, what they are doing is relying on this, the ones who are fully compliant. So typically what happens is, when I am when I am into a manufacturing business. So for acquiring the raw material, I also have to make some advance payments. Okay. So then to ensure that he will do his filings on time, and to get that additional information. So what they do now is, they are identifying some green channel vendors. So green channel vendors means the ones who have done their last 12 months filings on time. So now suppose I'm supposed to raise an invoice today. Okay. So they will pay the advance for that particular invoice also. So though there are credit periods also in some cases, but now many of the companies where there is advance payment involved, what they do is, they initially itself they categorize, and then periodically they will be reviewing the list. So now those who are not fully compliant, in that they can make a choice, matlab, I'll pay only this much amount. So these are all company specific rules that they will follow. But what will help them follow that is something, is this type of report, where someone is able to tell you that, look, your this vendor is like a very good vendor, this vendor is like a very bad vendor, this is like a okay type of a vendor, and this is like a generally non compliant type of vendor. So this is something that can be, that also a technology can do. And this is like a report which can also be done offline, at a periodic basis. You can, for entire list of your suppliers, you can kind of so here again, quarterly filers hote hain. So for example, if someone is doing a quarterly filing, you will not find his Jan or Feb month return, you will find directly March month return. So those also have to be given a benefit of doubt. So in case IFF has been filed, so again, so if you see here, there is 62% of the vendors have opted for quarterly filing. So they are the ones where, if you're looking at the Feb month or a Jan month, you need to be sure that your invoices are coming in March. So that is how you will be able to analyze your vendors. Now, of course, there are certain other things also which I almost talked about already earlier. Bulk operations at PAN level should be, can be provided. Other reconciliations like import of goods, input service distribution invoices, analytical reports like, 1 versus 3B, 2B versus 3B, sales summary, ITC summary, GSTR 9 preparation, 8A, that is auto drafted by the government versus 2B reconciliation. So again, here it is the annual ITC actually that the government has auto drafted, and that has to reconcile with the 3B and the 2B recon results of yours. Vendor payment report. So again, the based on 2B recon, many of them are taking back the 2B reconciliation into their systems, and then doing this payment releases based on these flags, where where the invoices have been received, they will release the payment. Where invoices are not received, they hold the GST payment. Again, this is not a compulsory thing to do, but some companies, whoever want to do, there has to be some sort of help from technology, so that they can arrive at what they want. Communication with the vendors, again, something. Then alerts and notifications. So like, as I said, e-way bill, when we look at e-way bills, there will be e-way bills which expire today. So those need to be checked by the and extended. So there could be alerts that can be triggered from the system. The alerts for notifications once the reconciliation is completed. um, all those things can be done um, from a third party platform. Now, I'll just briefly showcase. So litigation management solution is actually a platform where which will be the need of next few years, where because GST now, if you see 6 years have gone by, and now GSTN has identified so many frauds happening, so many, and none of the frauds will go overlooked, because every data point is there with the government. Okay, so whenever there is a note, so as I said, the reports like 13B, 283B will also help you understand whether you will be getting notices or not. Okay, so that is also one type of thing that there can be pre triggers, that look, there are differences, you can expect a notice. Or the ASMT 10 that is now currently being given to many companies. So basically, a platform, this platform, what it will do is not, of course, reply auto notices. Of course, chartered accountants only will be able to present on in the litigation. This is more from a management and tracking angle, and from providing due date reminders, and all those dashboards, fancy dashboards, etc., to the ones who are handling the litigation. So be it a corporate's internal team, or be it any chartered accountant who wants to track it. So this is based on the GST notices that are either uploaded on the GST portal or received in mail. So those notices, as I said earlier, the OCR process can be applied to those notices to find out what are the demands, what is the type of notice, whether it is for 13B difference, whether it is for 2A3B. So notices also, if you see, actually the government department has also given the platform to the officers who actually use that platform to find out. So everywhere there is technology. The end user, be it a government officer who actually is using an information to create the notice, or we checking out the notice and then drafting the reply. So everything is now digital. We have to be very fast in learning things, and understanding the importance. And uh, even if in the current scenario, if we are not using it, we should look at the things where we can use it and how it can be useful. So this is a solution to track the litigations, because litigation, again, it doesn't stop with a show cause notice. Once you get a show cause notice, then there are various stages: adjudication, appeal, and everything. So all those stages can be tracked. So these are some screenshots, just for your references, so how many cases are open for that particular so again, this is at a GSTN level plus at a PAN level. So if there are, say, 10 cases for one GSTN and 20 for second GSTN, this can be viewed at a PAN level as well as at a GSTN level. And pre-GST litigations can also be covered, and sooner direct tax litigations can also be a part of single platform. This is what a person who is handling litigations would want, is what we understand. And of course, the replies, etc., also can be basically uploaded in this platform. So this is more from a document management plus alerts platform, which will help you in drafting, which will help you in keeping a track. And also, to if at all you are using a single platform which has all the you say, for example, the corporate is doing their GST filings from this platform, and litigation management is also in this platform. It is very easy to the data preparation work can also be automated basically. So now, suppose I get a notice from GSTN saying 1 and 3B has a difference of so and so amount in so and so months. I can easily pull out what was the information that I had uploaded. Or even if you're not using the same platform, but you can still fetch that information of 1 and 3B and get that data points that are there. So it will also help you in preparing one because ultimately government is also taking that from that data source. So it's very yeah, easy to have access to that data, and then do your workings based on that data. So of course, reply drafting, case references, there could also be case references that can be automatically shown based on the type of so with AI ML everything has changed actually. A lot of things can be done, even the case references, but it may not be so accurate because of course the professionalism will come into picture where we have to also see whether it is a right case or not, whether, because that ultimately is technology. How smart we are able to make it, again it is learning from us only. So whatever you must be using chat gpt for any kind of yeah, so whatever it is using, it's something that has been fed into their systems, and based on that they have kind of picked up all the um, things. So that is it. So just a short key takeaway. So whenever you choose a technology partner, so I'm not talking from a ASP angle, even when you choose an ERP or for any kind of even small modules for small modules also, when you choose, you have to ensure some of these important points, the cost effectiveness, how how, because if you look at the full picture, it is just a small initial investment, but it will bring long term benefits, because then as professionals we can also focus on many other things that are opportunities for us. Data security, of course, as I said earlier also, username password sharing should not be done in any kind of platforms. Then the system should be scalable and also should be future proof. So you should also look at how quickly they can make changes, because GSTN keeps on bringing some of the other changes, or GST council keeps on publishing some of the other changes. How quickly we can people are able to adapt to that change. The platform partners that you are choosing is an important thing. And again, an integrated platform that I have already covered, and a user friendly platform with proper customer support. These are some of the points that you can basically keep in mind. Of course, from your requirement list, what are your pain points would be the first priority to check whether whether first of all this is possible technically, even if not today, whether that can be converted into a possible tech solution or tech module which can happen. So that is something that of course need to be evaluated. So yeah, thanks a lot. I think I am done with my presentation. Any questions we can take up?
There are no questions as such. Anyone would like to speak? Anyone? There is no question as such, Shelly, so I think we can end the session.
Okay, Mehal, no problem. Get close the session now.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so I guess this is the closing. Also, on behalf of the Women and Young Members Excellence Committee of I would like to personally thank Vaishali Dedia for this amazing session on the GST. It was so good that there are no questions. Like, it was self-explanatory from the starting till end. You have gone through everything, showing in Excel how things look like, when we download the data, and explaining each and everything. So we thank you so much, and we hope to see you again soon on such other GST topics or other topics. Thank you.
Thank you.